NI0K.
Ham Radio Deluxe Logbook. This is the most recent version of the logbook as of the time this video is being recorded. So I want to talk about selection. That is a really powerful feature, and it does things that the filter doesn't do. I'll give you an example. I'm going to click filter. It's a little bit off your screen here, but I want to filter on name. So we'll go here, click the field, and we'll go down here to name. What? There's no name here. I can't do it. But you know what? I can do it with selection. So I'm going to turn off filter, and I'm going to click on selection here. And you can go on any of these, right click, and it brings up a selections, logbook selections window. Let's add one. And this is kind of quirky, this dialog. You have to pay attention to what you're doing and my instruction. So let's call this name. And then we're going to go to fields. And you see there are several fields that we can have in the list here. And this help dialog here is helpful, but it doesn't tell you something really important. This enable box enables you to make changes. It's not an enable the field. I'll show you what I mean. I've clicked enable, and I'm going to go down here to this, find name, and you see it's in this list. And let's say we have contains, not contain, equals, not equals, starts with, ends with. Let's click that and say Fred. Now this is not case sensitive. Now that I have this in here, this is very important. Click the enable box to uncheck it. And you see now this is gray and Fred is in there. Now I'm going to click OK. Name is at the bottom of the list. I could move it up with this arrow here if I wanted, but just for this, let's not. So I clicked OK. Now I come over here. And remember, we wanted to look for Fred. So I'm going to click on name. And you see every one of these entries has Fred in there. We have Alfred, Manfred, Frederick, and there are 68 entries in my log that have the name Fred. So now let's modify this. I'm going to right click on name, click on name, select modify, or I could double click name. And here I am back. I'm going to click fields. All of these are ticked. Don't let that worry you. And let's go here and let's click equals. Now, you must uncheck enable. Now you see, this is gray. All those changes are there. Let's click OK. And OK again. Now let's click name. Now, we've got 16 results, and the name field equals Fred. There's nothing else in there. Now here's another scenario that I wanted. I worked a contest, and I wanted to see what new countries that I had worked in the contest. And so that's this entry here that I created. New DX, new countries in the CQ World, CQWPX SSB contest. So let's see what I did here. In the fields, I have contest ID equals CQWPX SSB. And this particular thing, I'll show you in a minute how you look that up, what needs to go in that field. The layout, this one is tricky. I have not figured out exactly how to work this part of it, and maybe if you have, you could put something in the comments down below. But I wanted to see the countries that I had worked. Now this particular tab is the summary tab, and it says use this option to restrict the display to show only one entry for each value in the selected field. This is designed to assist with award tracking so you can see the contacts which actually contribute to the award. Example, if you select DXCC, you see the most recent QSO for each DXCC entry you have contacted. So I'm going to cancel out of this because I don't want to make any changes. I'm going to cancel again. So now this is important. I selected all, and now I'm going to go down to this new DXCQWPX SSB. So now I have 80, and you see that means there are 80 different unique countries that I worked in that contest. And if you want to see them alphabetically, of course, you could click country top here. It'll show them to you alphabetically. Now let me show you how this works. I'm going to click all, and let's just click on one of these or open it up. And if you look over here, contest, oh, I picked the wrong one. Let me go back to this. The contest tab, you see here it shows CQWPX SSB. And if I click the drop down, you see all the different contests that are available in Ham Radio Deluxe. And the DXCC entry, let me show you how that works. If you go to layout and down here to DXCC, I'm just going to put it in so we can see it, and move it all the way up to the top so it's easier for us to see. The DXCC field has a number, and this is the number of the country as far as the DXCC award is concerned. So you see here Canada is number 1. Number 6 is Alaska, and so forth. Look at this, 4U1WB has no country at all. I wonder if we can fix that. There's a way to fix that, but that's not the subject of this video. I'm sorry to sidetrack you. But anyway, there are all kinds of things that you can do with selections that you can't do with filters. Now let's look at one of the built-in ones that comes from Ham Radio Deluxe. And it shows you all QSOs in 2012. We'll go here to fields and look at there's a mistake, and this probably goes, well, it obviously goes way back. It shows the first of the first day of the year and between the first day of the year. So if I cancel out of this, click all, and I'm going to click 2012, and there are no contacts in 2012, but I know they're in the logbook. So let's go back and fix this. Modify fields. Let's see, this is ticked, so enables changes. I'm going to change this to 12. And then before I do anything, I uncheck the enable. So now we have the time on field between January 1, 2012 and December 1. Oops, we want to make this December 31, don't we? I know this date is for us folks in the United States, and the rest of the world uses it the other way around, and Ham Radio Deluxe hasn't addressed that yet, but hopefully they will. So now I have to uncheck enable before I click OK. So I did that. Now I'm going to click OK, and OK to close the dialog. Now I'm going to go down here to 2012. Now I've got 76 contacts in 2012. So you see there's some built-in problems. Let's look and see how they do the top 100. This is the most recent 100 QSOs. Oh, it's very simple. They only limit it to 100 QSOs, and normally the logbook is ordered by the date with the most recent date on the top. So that's how that's done. I want to show you something else too. See this double-headed arrow? You click that, expands this out. My database is SQL, or also called the Maria database. And if you're SQL query fluent, you can write your own SQL query and put it in here. Now, I've never done that because I'm not SQL query fluent, but hopefully somebody watching this video is and could maybe do a video to show us how that's done. Let's look at another couple of these before I end this video. Here's a selection that is for single sideband, lower sideband, and upper sideband. So it shows us all the voice QSOs that are sideband. And how is that done? You see the mode contains, and there's 3 different choices here: SSB, LSB, and USB, and they're separated by commas. So that means that anytime the mode contains either SSB, LSB, or USB, it'll return true. Anything else we want to see? RTTY is going to be similar. Fields, RTTY. Let's do one that's real popular these days, FT4 and FT8. So we'll go FT4, oops, and FT8. So now this one's kind of tricky because Ham Radio Deluxe just had an update to properly log FT4 QSOs. So let's see what happens. I've not tried this. Mode equals FT8 and oh, come on. Now we want to go down here to sub mode. If you watched Mike's video on how to do this, which I I highly suggest if you do FT4, you need to do the latest update, and you have to watch Mike's video on this to get your logbook set up for FT4. So FT4. Now I'm going to untick these, click OK, and OK again, and let's see what happens. 2,799 in there, and let's see if we certainly have FT8 QSOs. There are no FT4 QSOs in there, so what did we do wrong? What didn't save it? Oh, I know why. I figured this out once before. I'll show you. It's that tricky tick box. So go back down here to submode equals FT4. I have to uncheck this first, so that locks that in, and then this. And the previous time I did this, I did not uncheck the checkbox for AND before I unchecked the checkbox for enable. So it didn't save those changes. So I bet it'll work now. Of course not, because it was an AND function. So let's try redoing this a different way. This dialog is kind of tricky. So we're going to remove, we're going to remove this. We'll make this none or blank. Well, we know that FT4 is a submode of MFSK. So if you only work the FT4 submode of MFSK, we can do this. So now we have said that the mode is FT8 or MFSK. And we have to uncheck this box again, click OK. OK out of the dialog. Now let's try it. There we go. And they're ordered by whatever this column is. I can't quite see it. Oh, by the DXCC country. I'll go back to date. And I think probably spend a lot of time working, more time working FT8. There's some FT4 QSOs. So if you work out how to have only FT4 QSOs and FT8 QSOs, no other submode of MFSK in one query, I'd be interested in knowing that too. Okay, well, that's about it. Thanks for watching.